Welcome, everyone. It's another episode of the Elevator Show here at NotInHallOfFame.com. And that is where every single month, myself, Kirk Buchner, along with Chris Mouradian, we look at what happened in the 30 days prior that helped this respective athlete, or maybe it might be something else. For me, it's all athletes, but helped their Hall of Fame cause or really did not. And imagine it the way I sort of described it years ago with my partner, Evan Nolan, who is my partner on Not in Hall of Fame and the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. Vote now, www.theusahof.com, where you can help shape the third class of the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. Pretty cool, right? Because like, Chris, you're in Wisconsin. I'm in Washington State. There is no electoral college. I don't care. We don't care where your votes come from and what state.
No,
It's pure democracy.
absolutely. And democracy timing is running out here. 28 days left to make your voice heard.
Yep. We might extend it, but yeah, I think that's how we're going to keep it. Yeah. But either way, vote now. You can vote every day, which is kind of something that we encourage you to do. Athletes from 17 different sports. I think I got that right. Coaches, contributors, and it's a lot of fun. But what this show is, imagine that the Hall of Fame is actually this big giant building. It's maybe like 50 stories. And to get there, there's Debo. Remember Debo from Friday?
Never saw the movie. Sorry.
Never saw the movie, Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're an old school wrestling fan. Do you remember Zeus?
Oh yeah. He was
Right.
he had the eye problem.
Yes. Zeus played Debo
Okay.
in Friday.
All right.
And then next, was he in next Friday? I don't remember. Either way, he's basically the bouncer.
Okay.
And he's the guy who's sort of holding that velvet rope.
Yeah.
You got to get up to that floor and get past Debo or Zeus, however you want to do that. And what Chris and I, we're looking at this elevator, and sometimes we've talked about people who got kicked out of the building and people who just found the building or the elevator got stopped. And we never tell each other what we're going to do, which kinds of makes it fun for us.
Yeah.
And you're very positive and I'm very negative on this one. So like, we know we have the same amount, but it's flipped. I've got, I think, what did I say? 4 downs, 1 up, and you have 4 ups, 1 down.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to cede the floor to you, sir. You can first up. And I got a feeling it's got to be somebody. If you've got 4 ups, I must have like forgotten something.
It's just sometimes things just kind of catch the ear at the right time of the month, and it falls in place for a show like this. So I am going to start with somebody that, if my memory hasn't failed me, you've mentioned in the past as an up, and that is Dennis Schroder, point guard for I believe Sacramento right now.
He's always somewhere.
He is always somewhere. He's the consummate journeyman player in the NBA. But we're not really talking about his NBA accomplishment here. We are going to talk about the get the name right here, EuroBasket tournament.
Okay. Yeah.
So EuroBasket was held.
I'm gonna try to like slide over my German hockey jersey here, but
okay,
okay, it didn't work. But anyway, yeah.
It was held this summer, and Dennis Schroder and Germany were the champions of the tournament. So that is his second international gold medal, having won the FIBA World Cup back in 2023.
I like it.
And also his second tournament MVP, as he was also the MVP in 2023 when Germany won there. So the NBA is unique in that they do have an international category where they select somebody whose accomplishments were more international than professional NBA or American college, and he's kind of positioning himself more towards the international accomplishments here that may help out. I mean, his NBA career is nothing to sneeze at. Over 11,000 points, over 800 games played. So he hasn't really found a home, planted roots anywhere, but he has contributed pretty much at every stop, to the point that he's still pulling in some pretty decent paychecks. But wanted to highlight his international MVP and the team win there with in the EuroBasket this summer.
Yeah, and if we're looking sort of at another scope, there is actually a FIBA Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So like he's jacked up certainly for that. Obviously, sort of as a German Canadian, I've got a little bit of a partiality to anything German and Canadian.
All right.
So if you're a German Canadian, obviously I love you even more. But he's a German.
Well, actually, hang on a second here. I had that up.
Well, I mean,
as
like he
well.
grew up there, so let's just assume he's still German. I don't know.
Yeah, grew up in Germany. German father, Gambian mother.
All right, but German citizen.
German citizen, yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Always at that patch of blonde. I wonder if he still has that from like every time I remember seeing him. But yeah, no, that's an excellent one. Yeah, I probably said that for FIBA. That sounds like something I would have said.
It was definitely an international
Yeah,
accomplishment as well. So you probably did catch me there for FIBA. So
yeah. Well, this one, my first elevator down, I'm repeating myself, but on another show that we do, another shameless plug, which is the Not an All In show, where Chris, myself, and usually Longhorn Dave comes on, and we just sort of like talk about whatever it is that I say we're talking about.
usually kind of, topical for something that's recently happened.
Yeah, we got to come up with something for next week, because you and I are going to be recording on Monday for the hockey preview. And usually we record on Mondays, but I'm sure Dave, you and I can come up with a whole lot. The way sports is this is the best month of sports, October. But I gave Russell Wilson an obituary, and I'm just going to officially call him an elevator down. I personally think he's a Hall of Famer. I put something out there, and actually a Hall of Fame voter or selector, Upton Bell, says that he's sort of like better than Donovan McNabb, because I said he's given us Donovan McNabb vibes. And where I give that, for those who may not understand that reference, Donovan McNabb had a great career in Philadelphia with no help, except for 1 year with Terrell Owens, and that didn't work out too good long term. But long story short, Donovan later on went to Washington, where his career fell apart. And with Russ, we have something super similar. I'm just going to, again, repeat myself here. My biggest what if for a Hall of Fame will always be if Pete Carroll would have said, okay, Marshawn, you go up the gut for what could have been a back-to-back Super Bowl. Obviously, we don't know if that would have won it or not, but we certainly know that a pass that was intercepted did not. And here we are years later. Russ Wilson is probably done. That's it. He's over. Marshawn is the toast of Seattle, but last year couldn't make it did not go very far in his first modern ballot. And Pete Carroll's it's going to be super hard for him to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Especially considering how great things are going in Vegas. So again, I personally will stand for Russell Wilson on the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think he was fantastic in Seattle. 104, 53 and 1 record, 292 touchdowns, 37,000 yards passing, which may not seem like a lot, but let's not forget he was a very efficient rusher. But when you fail right after in Denver, they buy you out. Your year in Pittsburgh was I know he was a Pro Bowler, which really. So was Tyler Huntley at one point. But anyway. And his giant stint has ended in a big wet fart. That's it. He's not going to come back and play next year. He's not.
If he's willing to accept a backup role, he may get a job, but his days as being a starter are in the rear view for sure. I kind of see things similarly to you. I think the Seattle, his time in Seattle, I don't think what he's done afterwards is necessarily going to prevent him from getting in the Hall of Fame. It may slow his selection down by a few years, but I think when all is said and done, winning the MVP, or not the MVP, winning the Super Bowl, being a bonehead call away from having a second one, I don't necessarily think that that's gonna.
But it wasn't just a bonehead call. It was a bonehead call that he botched.
Well, I think more so Marcus Butler played the play as perfectly as you could. He read it, jumped it, and there was it wasn't like the pass was thrown directly to him. I mean, he more or less knocked the receiver off the.
That was a third down, right? If I remember correctly, wasn't four.
It wasn't fourth down, no.
Yeah.
So obviously at that point it was 4 down territory. So
Yeah.
um I don't know if they were concerned about the time. I thought they maybe had some time left at that point still too, but or maybe they just thought, they were going to key in on they're going to catch him with the pass when they're expecting the Lynch run. But no, I don't think he threw a bad pass at that point. I think the Butler played it perfect. And
Right, but now those people have to sort of like get into that room and discuss this. And so, like as we had, like Chris and I were talking earlier, we had a great interview with Clark Judge that just went up, a Hall of Fame selector. And as much as he loves to get in that room and discuss, he can only discuss who gets in that room.
mm-hmm.
He has no power as to who gets there. And if there's more knocks on somebody to get there, and we've seen Donovan McNabb can't sniff it. Yes, Russ had a better career. Was he a better quarterback? I don't know. I mean, like, I remember them both obviously in real time, and Russ had more weapons for sure, but we also know how hard it is to get there. And when you have a reputation of your last 4 years being kind of negative, I'm again, I know I've said this before, but I look at all the quarterbacks who have gotten into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Did any of them really struggle at the end? Yes, they declined, but they weren't necessarily forced out of their position. That's fine when you're running back. Adrian Peterson's going to get in right away. It's fine if you're a wide receiver. It's fine if you're anything else, but a quarterback, I want to do that whole Tony D'Amato thing to God, what was Jamie Foxx's character? Seaman Woolley Beeman. You're a quarterback. It's the most important position in football, in all of sport. Horrible Pacino. Don't ever let me do this again.
But no, I mean you're right. I mean, quarterback is the most important position in NFL football, 100%. And quarterbacks are judged on hardware and wins. Mm-hmm. And he's got both. Doesn't have the MVP award, but he's got the Super Bowl trophy, the first and only one for Seattle. One thing that may work against him too a bit, although like I said, I think it slows him, but it doesn't stop him. Seattle more or less was known as the Legion of Boom, the defense in that era, and I think a lot of the attention, a lot of the accolades for the success they had there is going to be placed probably rightfully in a lot of cases on the defense, on the the Richard Shermans, the Cam Chancellors,
Earl Thomas.
Yeah. The linebacker, I can't think of his name, Bobby Wagner. Is that it?
Yeah, well, yeah, but Wagner's still playing. Earl Thomas is eligible now.
Mm-hmm.
Earl Thomas, though, he has that off-field issue. He was a finalist last year, but needless to say, Earl Thomas looks like he's going to get in first out of that Seahawks team. But yeah, it's not that I personally would go against him, but again, I don't know the criteria. He's got to get there.
Yeah,
and I don't know who decides it to get him there. If they can't get Donovan in, even close, yes, he's better. Yes, he's got a better resume, but we've seen this before. And quarterbacks too, especially considering who we've got. coming up, it's harder and harder.
Yeah,
Quarterback will be the next
for
big
sure.
log jam, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, and especially with the current voting structure that they have, that hopefully they address here soon.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right. We'll swing it back the other way here, and let's go with some football here. And I actually have three players I want to bring up here: Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, and Danielle Hunter.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember Danielle Thompson. He must be really good.
Yeah. All right. So Justin Jefferson tied Larry Fitzgerald as the youngest player to reach 500 career receptions.
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey became the third player with at least 50 rushing touchdowns and 30 receiving touchdowns, joining Marshall Faulk and Lenny Moore. And Danielle Hunter recorded his 100th career sack in the game earlier this year. So in all three cases, you have maybe some mini milestones, some little bigger milestones that those players each achieved already this year. Mm-hmm. So with Christian McCaffrey, obviously the injuries have just taken away what could have been an even stronger career for him. But still looking at what he's done, the three players, the other two players are Hall of Famers. So obviously that maybe is not a guarantee that it's going to be, but it definitely puts him in conversation with two of the all-time greats that have found their way to Canton. And obviously Justin Jefferson, youngest player to reach 500 career receptions, with another tied with another future Hall of Famer, somebody who should be selected January, February this year when they have their voting. Larry Fitzgerald. So just a few early season milestones that I wanted to give recognition to these players on, that will definitely be something that helps push their careers forward, especially when it comes down to end of career accolades and Hall of Fame consideration.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, statistical milestones certainly matter. Okay, so my next elevator down is someone who just got hurt and someone who deals with a lot of issues off the field, and Tyreek Hill.
Okay. Surprisingly enough, this was actually one of my downs.
Oh, that was your down? Okay. All right. So
in a way, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay. So he's got a torn ACL, which will end his season, and he's coming off a year where last year was his least productive year as a full-time wide receiver, because you can look back at his rookie year, but he was mostly a returner then. I love Tyreek. I've said this often. I said this in a show I did with Paul recently, Paul Lawrence, our good friend, where I ranked the top 30 players who are active and their Hall of Fame consideration. But Tyreek had taken a tumble, mainly because he took a step back last year. He's over 30, and right or wrong, some people in that room will have an issue with his off-field issues. And it wasn't all that, was, I believe, last month, where he was accused of his ex of domestic violence. Ex or current, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't remember the lady that accused him of what the relation was.
The one he was in a relationship with. I know that, and I'll admit, and this is sort of a blind spot, when I sort of see domestic things, I mean, I read it, but I don't want to know it. So, because I don't know, that maybe that's a blind spot on me, but here we have a guy who was at one point the WR1 of the league. His peers voted him the best player at one point, but 83 touchdowns, 11,363 yards is great, but in the biggest logjam of any position in football for the Hall of Fame, it's not great enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going to be able to add. Also, he's going to be sort of like by himself with his own devices. I don't, well, I'm not a religious guy. What is it? Idle hands are the devil's playground. I do I have that
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what worries me with him is what is he going to do? And I hope I'm wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong. I wish nothing bad on the guy. I want him to succeed. He was one of my favorite players to watch, period. But we've seen in the past where, TO, I talked about earlier, they made him wait 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek doesn't have TO's resume yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also a big believer in narrative. I talked about that with Russ. Like the last 4 years, he derailed Denver for a bit. New York didn't do anything. Kansas City decides, okay, we're going to trade Patrick Mahomes' best weapon. And we won 2 Super Bowls without him.
Mm-hmm.
And went to 3. That's what
It's
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, he's got an uphill climb still, and this
Yeah.
just is something that really is a big stumbling block in his path there.
Huge.
And yeah, and as you said, he still needs to build that resume. I mean, he had the trajectory early on in his career once he kind of broke out of that role of just being a returner and became a weapon. And the thing too is that knee injury was pretty tough to watch. The amount of damage that it did, he's a speed guy. Does he lose a step? Coming back, does he become a little more easy to run with? We don't know that, but wishing him the best. Like you said, just tough to see. And as you mentioned at the beginning of your turn here, I mentioned that he was on my list as part of my down,
Hmm.
and my down was essentially the amount of big name injuries that the NFL has seen so far this year. Between Tyreek Hill, Joe Burrows, Malik Neighbors, Nick Bosa, all these players that really kind of had somewhat established themselves in certain cases, and other cases there's a lot of untapped potential that was ready to grow, that going to lose another season here. And given how short some of these NFL careers can be, you really need to capitalize on those. And these are 4 big name players that are losing the majority of a season here at prime ages for all of them. I feel all of them still need some work to build their resume. Obviously, Malik Neighbors is a 2nd-year player the most, but Nicky Bosa there, Joey Burrows. What Cincinnati did put him behind that offensive line there for
What
multiple
offensive line?
seasons. Yeah, for multiple seasons. I mean, that's front office malfeasance there. But yeah, that was my down for this year, was just the amount of players that we're not going to get a chance to see this year because of the injuries, and how that impacts their Hall of Fame trajectories.
Yeah. Well, since I took your down, and you kind of already illustrated one of my other downs,
No, okay.
I got Nick Bosa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because second major injury,
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of players he won defensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year in his past. That's already puts him in rarefied air. 5-time Pro Bowler, but is it enough? Only one of those years was he a consensus first team All Pro. And again, like you and I have talked about, I don't know how many times, it's harder and harder and harder. Maybe that's sort of like why somebody should sort of come up with a revisited project where everything begins at 1960. Oh, wait, I did. You can check that out at notinhalloffame.com. You like that?
That's good. Good tie-in.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, Bosa, now we're going to have to ask him to come back after 2 major injuries. He's But then it's so weird. I mean, look at San Francisco. Like Bryant Young is in.
Mhm.
I would have Nick Bosa over Bryant Young any day of the week. But
Yeah.
there's another thing that, and I hate talking politics on this show. You know, I will talk politics offline, but I hate doing that here. But like right now, he's an open right winger, which whatever, I don't give a fuck. Some people on that committee I know wouldn't. Somebody who I've gotten to know a little bit, who's not on that committee, but is on other blue ribbon committees, Ken Crippen, friend of the show, is and friend of the site, has said, like, don't care. Don't care what anyone sort of like does off the field. We know some of them do.
Ask Jim Tyre.
It's a little bit different than wearing a MAGA hat on Sunday Night Football.
They're not supposed to consider the off field, yet they did in his case. I mean, it's hard to overlook,
Yeah.
But at the same time, if
I
off field is off field,
I know, but
what's the difference between that and the issues that Tyreek Hill has off field, or somebody that gets political off field? Just because it's not your cup of tea as far as politics goes, doesn't mean it should affect how you view his career.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. Every I try to look at everything individually, and like right now, the culture shifted one way.
Mm-hmm.
The time his name comes up, it could be completely a different way. I don't know. And again, I don't care personally if I'm in that room, but I'm not going to be in that room.
You never know.
No, I won't. I won't be. I won't be in that room. And that's okay. Maybe that's not the worst thing is for me not to be there. I don't know. But long story short, I mean, like at this point, he hasn't done enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel. And it's hard to do more when you can't play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the same thing I said there. You're losing a prime season of stat building or career building, whatever terminology you want to put there, and it's going to hurt him more so than at this time, because he hasn't gotten there yet. It's not like somebody who's at the end of his career and unfortunately has to call it a career after they've already accomplished everything they can. This is somebody that's young and needs to be out there playing and dominating the way he can.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I wish him the best in recovery. As with Tyreek, I hope they're both back next year dominating. I really, really do.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Football's better when the best players are playing.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's see if I can come up with something a little more positive here.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, he was on my list too. So, but let's talk about Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, who became
I know who that is.
First American woman to win double gold at the World Championships, winning gold in both the 100 and 200 meters. So another young female sprinter, that American sprinter here, that's dominating in the world track and field. Set records in both 100 and 200. I had them here. So new championship record of a record 10.61 in a 100-meter dash, and is 2168 in the 200. So just flying down the track there. Definitely positioning herself as a strong Olympic candidate, gold medal candidate here for the United States in a little over 2 years. So again, just another sprinter here that is just jumping off the page here, setting records, winning golds in world championships, and just
so
want to see
keep an eye on
win.
2028.
100%. Yep.
Excellent. So I just have one down, one up left. What do you
Okay,
got?
I got one more up, and we already talked about my down with some of your downs there. So,
All right, so my downs are a blanket.
mm,
We just saw the second cut of the seniors.
mm-hmm.
So here's my blanket. Pretty much, if you played before the first Super Bowl, forget it. There's only a couple left.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm huge on Lavi Dilweg, one of your guys in Green Bay.
Yep.
I'm not betting your house on it. I don't have a house, so I have to bet yours. Uh,
And I'm not letting you buy my house on
I know you're
it.
not. Well, I move from place to place, so it's gonna. I don't have any property. I have a dog, but I'm not betting her, no matter how annoying she is. So no, it's more of a blanket that way.
Mhm.
I think maybe next week you and I and a few other people want to bring some others for that. I really want to look at that cut line of who's left.
Mhm.
I don't know how Matt Millen is still there. I like Matt's overall career, but come on.
Yeah, yeah. Compared to some of the players that didn't quite make it,
No, no, that makes absolutely no sense to me. But all right, I mean, I guess because like he was a decent broadcaster and well, he was a GM. I can't say decent at that, but
yeah.
it could be
It's
biases there. I mean, like UI and Clark, our
mhm.
friend of the show, Clark Judge, talked about that, and it's
Yeah.
clear that the historians are not going to matter as much as they should. I don't
No,
know what more to say.
yeah, the panel selectors, they're they're younger, they're focused on the players that they are familiar with, and
Mhm.
I don't know if it's fair to say they refuse to do the research on some of these older players, but
We don't know, even know who they are.
the NFL selectors, we do.
Well, no, no, the ones
Or
who
Pro
got
Football
it
Hall
to
of
this
Fame.
point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we know that Clark is obviously somebody on certain committees, but he doesn't know how they got there.
Oh, no, no, and with the senior committee here, so
Right. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it's frustrating because a lot of us that have especially the Pro Football Hall of Fame really have a passion for it, do feel that a lot of these players that played before television and don't have highlights that you can readily pull up on YouTube
Right.
are being unduly passed over here.
Mhm.
And we're running out of people that have seen these players that can tell the stories. And it's getting to the point now where you, as you put it, have to have played after the first Super Bowl. I think you almost have to have played during the 70s or more recent.
We're getting
It's
there. We're
yeah,
getting there very
and
quickly.
it's becoming increasingly frustrating because finally some players are getting nominated to be finalists, and you look at their careers and you really can't poke a hole in their pro careers, yet they're stand almost no chance of being advanced to or selected because of bias is the right word, but the tendency to focus on the players that you can pull the videos of readily,
Yeah.
as opposed to having to do a little bit of reading or talk to somebody that saw him play or um, was a relative or something like that that can help shed light on their careers and why they haven't been overlooked. And as you mentioned with the Revisited project, the Pro Football Hall of Fame started a good chunk of time after the league had become
Mhm.
viable and had a lot of history already developed, and some lean years in there with classes that weren't full, that maybe should have been more full, players having to wait longer than they should have, causing the ripple effect of another player having to wait longer and other players having to wait longer and other players not getting their cases heard. has created, some has created the holes for some of these older players to fall through, and it's frustrating as a fan of the Hall of Fame that wants to see the best get their due. As we mentioned before, or as I mentioned before, hopefully the Hall, not the committee, but the board understands, hears from the selectors, hears from the fans that want to see the best get their due, and look at finding a way to help some of these players that are being overlooked and passed over with their Hall of Fame worthy careers.
Right.
Find their homes again.
Sorry for those watching. This is Winnie. Winnie is the official mascot of notinhalloffame.com. Yeah. Winnie the Mini Dachshund, who has decided that she needs to be seen.
Nothing wrong with that.
Wait, okay, Winnie. Well, right. It is because like when you notice she comes up, then sort of that autofocus goes like everywhere.
Yes.
Like what the hell? But anyway,
yeah.
So I only have one left.
Yeah, same here. You want to go with you have an up or a down?
No, go ahead.
You want me? Okay.
Yeah.
Terence Crawford won the super middleweight titles, unified title, unanimous decision over Canelo Alvarez.
I should have said, I lost on that one, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So boxing is not the sport it used to be. When you think back to the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but there's still some excellent boxers out there, and Terence is clearly one of them. His record is 42-0. 31 of his wins were by knockout. So he's clearly one of the top in his weight class. He's a little bit on the older side, so his boxing days are going to be winding down here soon, but still undefeated, still a champion.
Yeah.
And
I watched that fight. I don't know why I didn't even think of that too.
Well, that was the one I had to look up at the last minute here because I had thought about it and forgot to jot it down, and so we got it here now. So,
well, Alvarez was so much of the bigger star, sort of like going into that, and to your point, I mean, obviously, I think he's locked his place in the Boxing Hall of Fame. For our Hall of Fame, the United States Athletic Hall of Fame, which you can vote on at www.theusahof.com, which has inducted a lot of boxers, but the lighter weights, guys, come on.
Yeah, we got Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, both up there this
they're
year.
Still waiting. They're still waiting. Both of them were first ballot, and they haven't come close. With all due respect to Smoking Joe Frazier, who got in, come on, they're not. But anyway, that's another thing for another day. But anywho, I watched that fight, was very much entertained, and it's a lot different than back when we were young, where like there's an early Simpsons episode where Homer gets cable. And sort of like he's talking to all the guys in the plant, like, hey, so let's just all come over there, and then like we can sort of like wait for the news highlights to see who won.
Yeah,
I remember those days.
Pirated cable in that episode. He was pirating cable in that episode.
Pirating cable in that episode, yeah. But I mean, it was that hard to sort of like watch anything.
Yeah, pay-per-view.
Had
the parties. Yeah.
Like that would have been what, 89, 90 when that episode came out, but that was true.
Different era.
Like I think I went to a couple people's places, like one who like ordered it, and then when I was in college, I became friends with this older guy who he had one of those pirate boxes like back then. So like anytime there was a big fight or even some shitty fight, he'd say come over and watch, and we did. So. Sure. But like
I said, boxing is not quite the way it was it's been the mixed martial arts has really taken the lead
Yeah. No, totally.
on the fighting, but you asked me some of the best fighting was back with Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler,
Oh
Roberto
man.
Duran era. Those guys were just
Well, that foursome, yes.
yeah,
Absolutely.
better than some of the heavyweight fights. I mean, they were just
Mhm.
punch after punch and take and give and just to
Before
go back to
everything
that era.
fragmented too much, where there's like, well, I mean, when you look at this one, right? So like Alvarez fought Crawford. Do we even know what title they were even fighting for?
Ah,
You got to look it up, right? But I mean,
yeah.
then back then when Chris and I were young, like, but we knew what they were fighting for because there was only like there used to be one division or like
Yeah.
governing body
So
rather.
so according to the AI, WBA, IBF, WBC, and WBO titles.
Yeah, but
So
in what
undisputed,
in what category?
super middleweight.
But but you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, like
Mhm.
it's completely changed, and well, that's how it's going to be. So we have to adapt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I get to close this off, and this is sort
All
of
right.
well, not necessarily for you because I'm going back to wrestling here. Uh,
Okay. Sorry.
Chris Jericho looks like he's not going to be returning to AEW. Chris is over 50. Uh, there's a good chance he's going to return to the WWE.
Hmm.
He's obviously a Hall of Famer. He's not inducted yet. If he comes back, I can imagine what I predict. I did this on because Evan Nolan and I, we did a Hall of Fame draft. So like we just basically drafted like we did this for a dinner. So we'll see this with our
Okay.
respective wives.
Sure.
Names neither of us know. But
Earlier conversation.
yeah, exactly. We're men. We talk about things about sports. And but yeah, that's true. So I think Jericho is going to be coming back to the WWE. I can't see why he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer right away at this point. I don't know how much he has left. Put him in the Hall of Fame. He can still wrestle. He's the right age. To me, I honestly think this is a lock. Providing he signs with WWE and not with AEW, which I
Sure.
think is going to be the case. My secondary thing is the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, who are with TNA. TNA is now owned by WWE. So, but yeah, I think Jericho's a lock. Jericho is the headliner, is a great headliner.
Sure.
Also a fellow, no, not fellow, but because I'm not really from Winnipeg, but neither is he. He was born in New York. But anyway, someone in Winnipeg
Sure.
who spent some time there, as did I. And which is a great segue to say, like, hey, in a few days, Chris and I, we're going to be talking about the Winnipeg Jets and a bunch of other teams for the hockey preview show.
That's
And
right. We're gonna talk that hockey.
hockey, I'm pumped for that. Like,
Yeah.
well, I'm still living here because I don't know where I'm going to be in a year. So, like, at some point, you've got to come out here for a game.
Seattle's got a nice new rink there, don't they?
That arena is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
It's an amazing arena. You have a place to stay. It might be right around here, but that's
Yeah.
the offer, man. I
Yeah.
like seriously.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I was looking forward to it. It should be an exciting season. Kind of last minute down here. Alexander Barkov already down for the season here.
I thought about that one, Chris, and I
Yeah,
thought, you know what, I have him in the hall already.
yeah. So disappointing for Florida fans,
Yeah.
but we'll see how well he can heal up. And they got such a strong team here, but he is definitely the engine in that team. So it's going to be something that we're going to talk about more next
Love
week.
Barkov. Love him.
So yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah. All right. So with that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make sure today counts. But before the day ends, you're voting at www.theusahof.com. Help us decide who's going to be part of the third U.S. Hall of Fame class.
Sounds like a plan.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Sounds good. Later, everybody.